Please
Thank you,
go
and
ahead.
I know it's gotten late, and first and foremost, thank you for everybody who came out to speak tonight. I think it's a very important opportunity for you to have your voice heard. Council, as I said, has the most significant obligation of why we were elected to adopt a balanced budget to support the priority needs of the city of Richmond. The mayor introduces that budget, but it's ultimately the responsibility of this elected body to vote for its priorities. February 12th, we voted for the meals tax. That same evening, the proposed cigarette tax was introduced. That's 2.5 months ago. 2.5 months ago. Nearly an entire quarter of the year has gone by. We've had hours and hours of discussion and debate about our budget. The school's budget is going to be adopted within 3 weeks of today. And as of right now, the way it's looking, there will be no additional maintenance money. There will be no additional operating money. Tonight, expect that in 3 weeks. But our budget is, I don't know, 5% higher than it was last year when you take out the one-time spending. Our budget is growing. Our capital budget grew substantially. But I'm sorry, schools tonight for this elected body is not rising to the top priority of the city of Richmond. That is the message that you will be hearing shortly by a cast of votes. Now, you have heard my colleagues, a lot of them say, bring me a fully comprehensive plan. Bring it to me. Serve it to me on a platter because I'm entitled for you to develop it. I got a Dale Carnegie quote. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home. Do not think about it. Go out and get busy. That's how I feel.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were finished.
No.
Okay, please continue.
I'm sorry. I'm not always that short.
I did not. I'm sorry for interrupting. Please
the challenge for my colleagues is to get out and get busy. 2.5 months have passed. We talked about the meals tax. We talked about a fully comprehensive plan. I hear studies and commissions. That's already happened. Dwight Jones had a commission that looked at it. The Davenport presented a report that's looked at it. What haven't we looked at that I'm missing? What new information might miraculously appear? And if you had other ideas, why haven't you presented them in the last 2.5 months while we're in budget? While we're in budget, I cannot understand the answer, I don't know, give me something I can support, fully fund it. That's just not my way of doing business. I ran on a campaign when I first got elected 5 years ago. A worker, not just a talker. I have put in the work. I have put in the effort. I have served it to you. This council, during this budget deliberation, decided, okay, we want to give $1.6 million to renovate an additional green space at the RMA Plaza that is across the street from Kanawha Plaza that we just renovated. Oh my God, $1.6 million for more green space in downtown corporate area. Great, sounds wonderful. I couldn't imagine prioritizing that over schools. We're spending $500,000, and I see Chip back there. I apologize for calling out the ambulance authority. $500,000 for a carport for our ambulances because they are assets that need to be protected. A carport, $500,000. We're spending $600,000 additionally to maintain the Coliseum. To maintain the Coliseum. Last I heard, there's a proposal. We have in our budget $8 million for Stone Brewery to build a bistro that they've now said that they want to reduce the size of it by a third and possibly not even bring the full amount of jobs that we would expect. We just refinanced $8.5 million for the Redskins training camp instead of selling the facility. I spent, and our colleagues and the council staff spent a lot of time scouring the budget to find minuscule dollars. We found all sorts of little amounts, $50,000 here, $60,000 here. We came up with our cuts in the capital budget to simply say, okay, these are some monies that we can move. It was about $400,000. And out of courtesy, we sent this impact statement request to the administration to say, well, if we cut this money, what's going to happen? The next thing we know, oh, nothing's going to happen. In fact, thank you for tipping us off to these monies that you found. We've now reappropriated them. Thank you very much. We do the work. We try to make the priorities, but I'm telling you, in 3 weeks, there's not going to be any more funding for Richmond Public Schools because that is how the last 2.5 months have presented themselves. And I'm just being honest. I'm being honest with you because I think at some point in Richmond's however many years history, somebody has to be honest with the people. Because Richmond Public Schools, and I'm being very honest here, Richmond Public Schools is truly what is holding the city back from being a great city. Richmond Public Schools is the reason why all the people who move to Richmond move from Richmond, and they're not leaving the region. They're not leaving their jobs and uplifting their families out of here because it's a great place to live. But they are leaving because of the state of the schools. My wife is a teacher. We have a 16-month-old daughter. My wife's kindergarten classes, her number one thing that she would say to the students every single morning when they would get there, and she taught in some of the highest poverty schools, my number one job is to keep you safe. Kids don't feel safe in schools, whether it's gun violence or whether it's the decrepit condition, whether it's cockroaches and mice or whatever you want to say, it's not an adequate place for them. Tonight, a lot of people talked about the health impact of increasing a cigarette tax. I think that is a fantastic double win if we're going to try to also find funding. What a lot of people also didn't talk about, Richmond, for more than a decade, has been number one or number two in the nation for asthma. For asthma. We're one of the worst places to live. And part of it is we are creating the conditions for our kids. Asthma. Smoking certainly isn't good for those who suffer from asthma, I can guarantee you that. But neither are cockroaches or feces or anything else that they're inhaling when they're in a classroom that hasn't been adequately maintained and that the cracks haven't been sealed and that are suffering from black mold or other conditions of that nature. So here we are, and we're going to vote, and I'm going to end my time here. But we're going to vote. We're going to adopt a biennial budget. This is 2 years. This is fiscal year 19 and fiscal year 20. There's not going to be a single additional dollar appropriated by this council. That makes me very sad. That makes me very sad. And frankly, I was up here crying earlier tonight. The comments, we cannot continue to hear about the conditions the way that they are. And frankly, I know my colleagues will do what they feel they need to do, but voting on this is the right thing to do. Getting the full plan was the right thing to do, but frankly, inaction has created doubt and fear in me because I don't know when this body will step toward action and where's the leadership coming from. So if we got 4, if we got 5, I'll leave it to my colleagues to make that determination, but I do believe we're approving FY19 and FY20's budget, and we've served on this body together now for a little more than a year and a quarter. There's not much more time during this term to do the right thing. So I ask my colleagues to support this and do the right thing now, today, yesterday.